4 score and 7 years ago, I did a speedrun that literally nobody asked for. This is Midnight Mysteries Witches of Abraham. I love this game. This game is hilarious. If you haven't heard of this game before, the premise is that you need to help Abraham Lincoln's time-traveling ghost stop a bunch of witches from robbing a train and taking over the country. I'm not joking, that is literally the storyline of this game. It's hilarious, and now that I've finished finding a bunch of random garbage in my house, I can go back in time with Abe. He's explaining the storyline here. Take my hand! You'll notice he doesn't actually say everything. I just click through conversations to skip over them. That's a time saver. That's a time saver. So I'm doing that again here with Alan Pinkerton. Now I'm just grabbing a couple of things. I talk to Mary Todd Lincoln, then give her the locket so I can go inside the room for a puzzle. The puzzle's going to have kind of difficult controls. I think this game was supposed to be made for a touchscreen and the computer. I'm playing the computer, so sometimes the controls aren't so good, and you can see which puzzles would be a lot easier to do on a touchscreen. Like that one. So what I did there was I grabbed items while a scene was playing. I'll do this again here. Like, I've got a Steam scene here, and you'll notice I grab a key while that scene is playing. That's a time saver. Now I'm going to trigger a telegraph scene, and I'm going to put this key in there while the telegraph scene is playing. That's a time saver. You get the idea, right? I'm doing things while other things are happening. And now for a hidden objects challenge. So let me explain how hidden objects work in this game. You kind of saw it earlier, but that doesn't really count. So I have to find 12 items, and the items are randomly picked from a list of about 30 or 40 different items. So every time you play the game, you get a bunch of different items. They're always new. 4 or 5 of the items are going to be the same every single time. 4 or 5 of them are going to be the same every single time, but all the others are just going to be random. So in order to get through that hidden objects challenge, I memorized where a lot of the items were. You'll notice I used a hint to find the canteen because I didn't know where that was. I hadn't seen that item before. It's okay, it wasn't that much of a time waster. With every other hidden objects challenge, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to save my game and then reload. So I'm going to use that in order to get through the other hidden objects challenges, because they're randomized. So yes, I could memorize all 10 hidden objects challenges in this game, but that's not really feasible. Okay, so the main point of this chapter, we're on chapter 2, by the way. The main point is to get the 6 soldiers. So this gives us a helmet, and now we can go back in time. Again, I think. Hey, Abe. He wants us to find William Quantrill. William Quantrill is the leader of the witches. Okay, so, now I'm going to use the axe over here, grab 2 items, and open this door. Very simple puzzle, left skull 3 times, middle skull 3 times. Doesn't matter where you click, you just need to click on the skull. So here you'll notice I trigger a thing on the very top about those arrows, just to help with the puzzle. We'll see in a moment. And this is a brick puzzle. I make a mistake and get some bricks over here on the right, particularly those 2 bricks, those last 2 bricks. I didn't need to get them because you'll notice, as soon as I uncover the correct bricks, all the other bricks magically disappear. Okay, so now hidden objects challenge. So you'll notice with hidden objects, some of the items I find show up at the top of the screen. You know, we get a zoom in on those items and they block the screen so you can't really see what's going on. So that makes the hidden object scenes kind of difficult. You kind of want to plan which items you're clicking in a good order, because you just don't want the screen blocked for a huge amount of time, because obviously you can't click around. Now, technically, what you can do... Oh, there's the arrow puzzle right there. And let me talk about this. I'm going to pull this crank down here, and we're going to have a scene playing in the background, but I'm going to skip it by clicking on the door. That's the way this game works in general. Whenever a scene is playing, the game will interpret what your first click is while the scene is playing. That is, the game will follow whatever you click on first. As opposed to other games where it does whatever you click on right now. It's like, no, whatever you clicked on first during a scene. So we'll see this here. I'm going to click on the T table right here. And the game is automatically going to zoom in on the T table because I clicked on that while a different scene was playing. I'll give you a better example here. I find 3 items and then I click out, and the game automatically follows the click I made while we had the scene of those items going into my inventory. That's basically how it works. Basically, whenever a scene is playing, the game will do whatever you clicked on first, not whatever you clicked on most recently. So that was a minor time saver. If you hold the plates in that particular spot while the scene is playing, the plates will automatically snap on without you having to click. Now, that puzzle I solved is more difficult than it seems. It's randomized. The layout of the plates are randomized. The 2 plates that go on the left are identical, so that's kind of easy. That makes it a little bit easier. That does, in fact, make the puzzle a little bit easier, but it's still randomized. And now we are going to meet the head ghost, William Quantrill. This is going to give me a little bit of free time, so let me talk about a time saver I did, which is completely not obvious. There's an opening scene to this game, which I skipped over. The opening scene is supposed to be an introduction to the character and explain, hey, our character is a writer. Our writer has seen lots of ghosts over the times, referring to the previous games in the series. So the way to get around that opening cutscene is to start a game, start a save file, right? But don't actually start the game. You start a new save file, then you quit the game. Then what you do is you restart the game, and that opening scene will play before the title screen. Yeah, so that's how you get the opening scene. Instead of having it play after the title screen like normal, the way you get it to play before the title screen is to just quit your game instead of, starting the game as soon as you start a save file. Here I'm finding a bunch of matching pairs. Kind of a pain. Especially because I have to do a lot of moving things aside, like, I had to move the curtain aside, I had to open the violin box, I had to open up the one thing, so on and so forth. This is another puzzle. Not too difficult. The plates automatically rotate, which... Oh, hey, and we're undoing the curse on Abraham Lincoln. So the plates automatically rotate in that puzzle, which is what makes it a trickier puzzle. Because sometimes they'll rotate when you don't want them to rotate. And that will just slow you down. Okay, so you'll notice there I tried to grab the telegraph key, but realized I couldn't. What you have to do is zoom in on a zoom in area. Oh, skip button's going to appear in the upper right hand corner here. Any moment now, we're getting a skip button. Yep, skip button. So we just missed the gold heist. Yeah, the bad guys got to the train. I'm sorry, we weren't fast enough. I was speedrunning, but I wasn't fast enough to stop the gold heist. Anyway, as I was trying to say, unlike a lot of other casual games, if you want to use an item on a zoomed-in area, you actually have to zoom in first before using the item. You can't use the item to zoom in on something. Sadness. So here, I'm just grabbing a bunch of items. The main puzzle here in this area is to find 11 tombstones. And this, looking at that thing, triggers this hidden objects challenge. So that was a very short segment. That segment was only 39.50 seconds long, so it was about 40 seconds. Here I'm grabbing a bunch of items. Hip hip hooray. It's a very nice hidden object challenge. We get an item used to crack the safe, and we'll be going there and cracking the safe later. So you'll notice I had to scroll through my inventory in order to get the hammer to get that particular tombstone. Inventory management is not such a big deal in this game, but you have minor instances where you actually have to pay attention to inventory management. So that's why I grabbed the pick after opening the door there. And we're going to have another case of inventory management here in just a moment. Now I'm getting another tombstone here. And we're going to talk to Abraham Lincoln. He's talking about this river. So inventory management is good there because I have the 3 items I need to give to Abraham Lincoln all close to each other. Actually, 4 items I need to get to him. So, for example, that is why I decided to do the hay puzzle right there, you know, because that helped with inventory management. Here I'm getting more tombstones and solving this puzzle. The controls for this puzzle can be kind of tricky. I don't know why. It's just a weird puzzle. I think that's why the controls are tricky. And Abraham Lincoln, hi Abe, bye Abe. Not gonna see him again for a while, I suppose. So now we're gathering a bunch of fool's gold for that random ghost person we kind of saw earlier. We didn't actually talk to him. Lots of fool's gold over here. Now we're gonna go back and actually make the gold. But first, let's grab this. So William Quantrill, guess what? He is actually Albert Travis. He went under the alias Albert Travis. Have any of you heard of Albert Travis? No, I haven't either. So that plot twist doesn't really make as much sense as it could. And you'll notice now our inventory is nice and small. We don't have a bunch of items anymore. Hooray! And we're going to steam this off in order to get some green acid. We're going to put the acid in a bottle while grabbing the gold, the fool's gold. Alright, now we're going to open this. You'll notice there's a red hand there indicating I can't use the item yet. I need to wait until the hand turns white before I can use it. You'll notice that in a couple of places in this game. And hey, we've got another segment. So this is segment 5 of 8. There are actually 7 chapters in this game, but 10 hidden objects challenges. And I did the first 2 hidden objects challenges together. So that's why we have 8 segments instead of 10 segments, 1 for each hidden objects challenge. Okay, so we actually need to talk to that guy before giving him the gold. And this is really tricky because you have to wait for every scene to finish before you can start the next scene. And granted, all these scenes are like 1 second long or so, but they're all different lengths, and that just makes it tricky. Yeah, this is one case where you cannot do multiple things at once. You actually have to wait for the scene to finish playing before you can go on to something else. There's a minor having to do things in the right order here, but it's not that bad. The only place where things really overlap are the shoes. You'll notice the shoes are overlapping with the spinning wheel. This puzzle, the easiest solution is just memorize it. The controls are not so good here. Yeah. So I'm going a little bit slow just because it's really easy for the game to think you accidentally dropped something. And I'm going to skip this. And hey, I got myself a clover. Every now and then I grab clovers or ravens. Ravens are hints. So I just grab them just for fun, you know, while scenes are playing. There's nothing else to do. Like right here, I've got nothing else to do for a few seconds, so I just grab a clover. Wait for that scene to finish playing before I can grab that knife. And now we're going to play Cut the Rope. So this is really, really difficult here. This is way more difficult than it looks. Basically, this was one of those run-killing problems. And I deliberately waited there rather than risking dropping that sandbag too early. I'm gonna get an achievement here for not using hint on that puzzle. Yeah, I'm really smart. I didn't need to use the hint. This is kind of a slow puzzle, but what you gonna do? None of the puzzles in this game are long enough that I'll actually be able to use the skip button in order to skip them. So I do have to solve every single puzzle legitimately. Now, sometimes, you know, if you're doing a single segment run, you'll end up with a glitch, which the skip button will refill for multiple puzzles. Now we're gonna avoid being shot by Jesse James. That's what we did there. Actually, Jesse James tried to kill us, so we grab Abraham Lincoln and escape. But no, if you're doing a single segment of this game, sometimes the skip button will get screwy, and the hint button can also get screwy. And you'll notice I grabbed an item before I could even, you know, before the screen had even finished. That's nice. I can't consistently figure out how to get that skip button glitch to work. But I imagine if somebody could, they would be able to use that to skip puzzles on a single segment run and just zoom through the game. You wouldn't zoom through the game per se, you'd just zoom over some of the longer puzzles. And you notice you actually have to look at the at Abraham Lincoln's tomb before you can do this hidden objects challenge. That is in fact true. There is an order. And I have to find it interesting, because Abraham Lincoln's dead here, right? We know he's dead, we've seen his ghost, but during this scene, we actually have his tomb in the White House. Whereas earlier, the earlier White House scene took place while Lincoln was still alive. Like we had his scene in 1863. So I find it weird that he's a ghost even though he was technically still alive in 1863. So this chapter is kind of a weird side chapter, I would say. Now that we have the Habsburg Cross, we didn't actually get it for this purpose, but we're just using it again. I don't know. Anyway, we go on a weird side tangent of saving Abraham Lincoln's son from dying, which is nice of us. But that's not what we got the Habsburg Cross for. We got it for something completely different, which we'll see at the end of the game. And now Abraham Lincoln wants us to give back his axe. Okay. Bossy pants. And now we're going to go, to another time. So, John Wilkes Booth, he is the man who assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. In our storyline, he is still alive and working with Jesse James. Now, I'm disguising myself as Abraham Lincoln's evil cousin, Wild Bill Lincoln, who is also part of the gang, with Jesse James and John Wilkes Booth. So I'm finding a bunch of scraps of paper here. That's basically all I'm doing. John Wilkes Booth is disguising himself as James St. George. That was his trunk on the train that we went through earlier. You probably didn't catch that because, well, we kind of zoomed right through it. Now that is a math puzzle I just solved. Hooray for math! It's the same every single time, so not too bad of a puzzle. 2 left, 2 right, 2 left. And a hidden objects challenge. So as I mentioned earlier, some items will always appear in a hidden objects challenge. These items which zoom in on the top of the screen, those always appear. Those always appear. And this one always appears. Because that's actually one of the hidden objects challenges, which makes sense in the context of the game. We actually get a clue to the game. It gives us a clue to this puzzle. 1865. So John Wilkes Booth set his you know, his thing to 1865. Isn't it kind of foolish to set the current year to be the code for your save? Won't people be able to figure that out? This is randomized, this particular puzzle. The pieces are the same, but how often you have to rotate them changes. So if you're really, really lucky, you only have to rotate each piece, say, twice. Some pieces start off in the correct position, too. Sadly, I was not able to get the optimal, everything starting off in the right position there. And this is chapter 6 of 7. We're really close. This is also randomized, this puzzle. The starting positions are randomized. You'll notice I got really, really good there with number 3, ring 3 and ring 1. What you want to do is cut the What you want to do here is cut these things. What you wanted to do for that previous puzzle was rotate the rings in the correct order. And that order I did was actually the fastest order. You'll notice there's a strategy guide in the bottom left-hand corner. It tells you how to solve that puzzle, but that is not the fastest way through the puzzle. Nope. And those things we saw there were telling us about Emperor Maximilian of Mexico, who was killed. Apparently, he was saved by these witches and made to join their top secret society. But he's sad because he wants to be with his ghost wife. You saw her, his ghost wife. He wants to be with her. That's a tricky thing because you want to shut the door and open the door. Man, that's ugh. But this is the final segment of the game, and so basically with the final segment I played it 5 times through, and this is my fastest time. With all the other segments I played it through like 10, 20 times until I got the fastest time possible. Here I just kind of got lazy because I was so close to the end of the game and said, I'll just take my best out of the first 5 tries, which are actually good. You'll see why in a moment. There's this one puzzle which will basically kill you. Just awful controls for that puzzle. So this puzzle is kind of weird. You have to do a bunch of items in a very specific order. In order to get the ring made. Game makes you wait like a second before you can pick up the ring. I don't know why. And again, that's a very specific order there. You have to do those 3 things to start this puzzle in a specific order. And this puzzle is just memorization, just pure memorization. I guess if you want to save time, you could also have, you could just write down the solution and just follow it. That works too. Yeah, kind of a slow, long puzzle. I'm gonna go away. I need to actually talk to Emperor Maximilian before I can give him the ring. And now he puts the ring on his ghost wife, and they are together forever. Together forever and never to part. Oh wait, they're both dead, huh? Oh, okay. I guess they're not living forever then. Okay, so this puzzle, same every single time. Maybe I'm going a little bit slower than I need to, but, you know, if you're just a little bit off, the game will not accept it when you put down a gear. You have to be very precise. And this tells us how to defeat the evil William Quantrill, and I just skipped a scene. Okay, so now for the puzzle that's really, really difficult and basically makes this final segment ridiculous. This. The controls are not the greatest, and you'll notice doing pretty well there, but what I have to do is let go and then pick up the magnet again, because oftentimes it's very, very easy just to go too far to the side and go out of the realm of movement. That was really, really good. That was, in fact, 10 seconds better than my second best try. So, yeah. Here maybe not so good. You'll notice I'm clicking on leaves, and it's saying I didn't click on them. That is just thumbs down controls right there. Yeah. Well, besides for that, everything else in this game is just going to be a cakewalk. We're really close to the end of the game. I grabbed these levers second because of inventory management. Probably the only other time I have inventory management in this game. Solving the puzzle while the puzzle is appearing on screen. Nice. But yeah, inventory management for those keys, because I've got lots of keys, and I've also got lots of potion ingredients, because I'm making a potion. Now, if you're fast enough, it might be possible for you to show the locket to this guy. I don't know. I did that once, and that was while the game was going super slow because of, virus protection software running in the background. So maybe that's not a skip you can do in real time. That's a nice skip there, me dropping the leaf in before that guy talks. Normally what you're supposed to do is hear what he says and then drop the leaf in. And we just killed William Quantrill. Yay! Well, he was already dead because he was a ghost, but whatever. And there's a Habsburg cross. That was a weird little glitch there. You'll notice the cross disappeared and nothing happened, and I had to wait like a half second. Weird. It literally just disappeared from the screen, and I don't know why. Final puzzle. Solution is the same every single time. Accidentally double-clicked on that U. Darn. Kind of bad to mess up on the final puzzle. Oh well. So that's it. That's basically it. Now what I do is I go inside here and end game. I don't know when you should say the end of the game is. If the end of the game should be here, or if it should be after the dialogue ends. So I just decided end of game is when the bonus chapter screen pops up. Because you do have to skip through the epilogue. I mean, you can click to skip through the epilogue. It's not really much of an epilogue. Yeah, that's the epilogue. That's it. So that is the end of my speedrun for Midnight Mysteries, Witches of Abraham. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.